Let us begin. What is your name? When were you at Prentiss? And how do you remember your time at Prentiss?
Okay. My name is Al Weathers Johnson. I am a grandson of the founders. My father was Al Sailor Branch Johnson, who's a past president. And I grew up there. I went from school from pre-primer, kindergarten to the 11th grade, and which time they built a new high school, J.E. Johnson High School, and I did my last 2 years there. So I spent my years on campus, running around on campus, um, being around faculty, staff of all ages and races. And I got a firsthand knowledge, I guess, of the workings of Prentiss. My father would come home and talk to my mother about problems and progress, and things would go in one ear and out the other. Had an opportunity to participate in a fundraiser project by the late William B.O. Crosby, who was probably called a development officer now, but he was a public relations officer, but he was a fundraiser. And we spent times in Ohio and Pennsylvania visiting service clubs, Rotary clubs, um, clubs and organizations in general, churches, and we would take up funds for Prentiss Institute and send it back for resources for the institution. My time at Prentiss was during my formative years. So I learned the good, the bad, and probably the ugly. However, being following my grandparents who had dedicated their lives to service, that probably what instituted into my brain the same thing, because I later started working at Alcorn State University, where my grandfather finished. At that time, it was Alcorn A&M College. And I spent my years at Alcorn providing service to students from all over the country.
Why was Prentiss so important to you? And I know it's in your blood, literally, but what makes it so important to you today?
I think they took the word service. My grandparents initially, when they graduated from college, their respective colleges, Tuskegee and Alcorn A&M College, they wanted to be missionaries. And they spoke with Booker T. Washington, and he told them that their, I guess, service, their missionary could be done right here in Mississippi. So they initially started to their work at Prentiss in 1907 with 40 acres and a few dollars, and grew to the time it closed up to more than 700 students. It can't help but rub off on you being around students from all over the country, various economic backgrounds. Some came with AIDS, poetry, some came with dollars. But it gave me a background to learn how to be of service. And I think I spent all my life now being of service. And with Prentiss Institute, although there's no classes going on, there's no kindergarten there, there's no junior college there, no high school. However, with the plans that their board of trustees are looking at now, they're still talking about being of service, whether it be training programs for the job market of the 22nd century, or providing safe dwellings for activities, clubs, and organizations. We have programs in the Rosenwald building, which is a historical landmark. So it's still viable in the community, providing service in a different form to the community.
There was so much in 1907 when your grandparents had the vision following the example set by Booker T. Washington and bringing that to Prentiss and forming Prentiss Institute, Prentiss Normal and Industrial Institute at that time. In the 21st century, there's still a lot of people who are left outside. They're not matriculating and they're not moving forward, although they have the gifts and opportunities and talents within themselves, but they're not so inspired. What role can Prentiss Institute play in their lives as we honor the past and invest in the future?
I think with the graduates, especially with the local graduates of Prentiss Institute, many who have become farmers, who are teachers, lawyers, doctors, you still have that cadre there that can provide service to those persons who may be underprivileged, as Bill Crosby used to say. They can provide that cadre where they can look to be role models and say, look, this is where I came from. This is where you can go. As we look at towards the future, I think one of the greatest things that the board has taken on is trying to restore old buildings, maybe even get those on the historical landmark. And we need resources, whether it be dollars and cents, or it may be in kind. We have electricians out there, we have carpenters, all that can go towards help restoring Prentiss Institute, not back to having classes for kindergarten and through junior college, but helping to start and provide a source of trained young men and women to move into the workforce of the 22nd century. So if those out there who want to make a donation, feel free to do so. And those who can provide some in-kind service, the Board of Trustees of Prentiss Institute welcome your interest and help.